about 1 minute. Well, good afternoon. What a rainy start to fall we are experiencing today. It just reminds me that we are all getting into that transition to get some nesting done. That's what we call it, huh? Getting our homes in order. So we're really grateful that you are here today. Thank you for that. My name is Sharon Parento, and I'd like to welcome you to Decluttering Battle Plan. This is part 1. It's going to give you a high-level overview of some of the issues surrounding decluttering, but we have a very special guest with us, Monica Black, and she's going to help you kind of start to drill down. I would like you to stay tuned right to the very end. Monica's got some amazing tips for you. And also, we have some very special offers, okay? So this is going to be a great deal of fun. We encourage you to find the chat box so that if you have specific questions, you can ask them, and we're going to make sure to leave time at the end to get those questions answered for you. We want to make sure that everyone who's come here today and spent their time with us gets exactly what they need. So let's get started. So there I am in a photoshopped version with better hair and makeup. But I am a realtor with Keller Williams. They allow me to create my own brand, which is the S.M.A.R.T Realty Solutions brand. I specialize in downsizing seniors in the GTA, particularly in York region. And these are people who I found through door knocking in my neighborhood in Richmond Hill. And they are kind of in the same boat. I noticed that there was a lot of similar issues, a lot of similar questions. So we started doing seminars in person a couple of years ago now, and doing things in person, helping people get educated about their options. And then, of course, now with COVID, we are still in the digital realm. So that is me. And later on, we are going to meet Monica. Say hello, everyone, to Monica. Hi, Monica.
Hello, everyone.
She is the president and founder of Simple Easy Transition. Oh my word, that is worth its weight in gold. So I'm looking forward to learning from her, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of amazing tidbits to take from her as well. So let's get right into things. Welcome, introductions, that's been knocked off the to-do list. I just want to spend a little bit of time understanding the high cost of clutter. I know you're here because you find that you have too much stuff, like we all do, and it's either coming at a time when you anticipate this being a problem in your future downsizing, or it's already of concern to you. So congratulations on being here, but we are going to talk a little bit about that clutter as being very costly in ways that you may not have really accounted for. And then I'm going to provide you with some specific strategies on a high level, kind of helping you with your mindset. And then Monica's going to come in like the cavalry and help us really slay that enemy, which is clutter. So thank you again for being here. Remember to stay tuned till the end. And please know that we intend this to be as interactive as possible. Of course, okay? So there we go. Look at that beautiful couple. They clearly have no clutter in their life, but most of us do, myself included. I'm certainly not exempt. But when I was knocking on doors in Richmond Hill, beginning my real estate business, I heard the same concerns. People saying, well, great, my house is worth $1 million, but what do I do with the basement? All the stuff in the garage. Oh, it's overwhelming. And this is not uncommon. This is a very common issue because we spend so much of our early life acquiring things, the things we think we need. And as our lifestyle changes, our requirements change, but we still have the stuff. And what ends up happening is people are held in a house that is larger than they need, larger than they want. They are facing the burden of maintaining it only to warehouse their stuff. So we really want to help you get free. And that's why we've used this metaphor of the decluttering battle plan, because it really is a battle. And like every battle in our life, it takes time on task. And I'm going to say to you, as a word of encouragement, you don't get to our age without having overcome far more daunting obstacles than your basement. But I understand it's really about where to start. So my goal in this, our goal, Monica and I, is that your house would be a sanctuary. And as the weather starts to shut in on us and we spend more and more time indoors, that's such a key component, that our homes are peaceful, they are organized, that we don't look around and feel anxious. So let's get you going on that road to peaceful sanctuary. How does that look? Now, let's identify our enemy a little bit more. There are ways that clutter is interfering with the quality of your life, and you might not have considered before, like just even the social life. As we begin to open back up again and invite people into our homes, a lot of times we shut the doors to rooms we don't want them to see. We feel embarrassed, or you might even be to the point where you won't invite people over because your clutter is a source of embarrassment. You know, I'm not excluded from this. My office door is usually shut when people come to my house. And we really don't want to miss opportunities to be with the people that are important to us because of our stuff. Like, this is just way too high of a price to pay. And then we also think of kind of the mindset and aggravation of it, where we don't feel relaxed, we don't feel comfortable. And I'm also going to really spend a minute on the financial cost of decluttering, because as you know, I'm a realtor, and I am encountering every single day of the week people who are living in homes bigger than they need. They're only using maybe 2 or 3 rooms at most. 80% of the rest of the house is dedicated to stuff, and that has a huge financial cost. So we think of it that way, but this is kind of a lesser cost, the aggravation of not being able to find things. I am constantly looking for my glasses. If I just got disciplined enough to put them in the same place every time I took them off, that would be great. But I love this cartoon. I need another book on decluttering because I lost the other 2 I borrowed. Yes. So often we are spending money on things because we couldn't find them. We end up going to the dollar store and buying a cheaper version of them. And this, I'm sure many of us can relate to, that we are keeping things for our children and they are taking up literally valuable real estate. And my question to you is, do they know? Do they want it? And when are they coming for it? So already you can see we're getting into a mindset shift that you may be holding on to things that, there's no kind way of saying it, nobody wants. I've encountered this myself when my eldest daughter moved back from university. I was keeping a whole bunch of things, including the baby cradle that must have had 50,000 miles on it as I rocked my 4 children. Nobody wanted that. And she said to me, "Mom, it's not even safe these days. That's not up to code. Are you trying to kill your future grandchildren?" And so I went to the curb, and within 20 minutes, it was gone. But back to my point about the financial impact of clutter. We've all encountered times when we couldn't find things. And when it comes to things like bills or invoices, you end up paying penalties, or you can't find things and you repurchase them. And then I like this one right here. I'm just going to move my cursor. Determining your annual cost for the usable space versus the storage space. So if you added everything into a pot, your property taxes, your utilities, what you're costing, you're paying for maintenance companies like lawn care or snow removal, or even just the kind of repairing the things that are broken in the home. And you divide that by the cost of that square footage in total and divide it into how much you are using versus how much you're storing. You can see that it's quite a financial impact. Very interesting new sector of real estate is the storage unit. And it's so true. We go into a new community, you see a McDonald's, a Starbucks, a nail place, and the other thing is a self-storage. And that really speaks to how common the concern is. And I'm going to say that you don't really have a storage issue if you have an outside storage unit. You know, it's not a storage issue. It's likely a motivation issue or just that sense of being overwhelmed. So are you getting more out of your possessions than it takes to maintain them? So true. When you cost it out. Now, I promised you that I'm coming from the standpoint of a realtor, so I just want to spend a second on this. This is hot off the presses, August real estate numbers from the Toronto Real Estate Board, divided by the area of the city, if you're in the 416 or the 905. But this is the part that really is interesting to me. If you're living in a detached home, it's worth approximately, on average, 1.365 million. Okay, so 1.4 million, let's call it that. If you determine that 70% of the home is dedicated to storing things that you don't use, don't want, but just, you know, you're kind of burdened by. If you could see yourself to downsizing to a semi-detached or a townhouse, look at the financial benefit that you would derive. You would take the equity out of this bricks and mortar that does nothing for your lifestyle and be able to translate it into a new, more appropriately sized property and bank the rest, invest the rest, gift the rest. Even the possibility of purchasing an investment property where you could derive some passive income. So with the average sale price in the 905 area being 1.4 million, and the average condo being a little over 600,000, that is a huge nest egg that you're kind of missing out on by maintaining a home that no longer suits your needs. I am about 10 months away from being an empty nester, and I've downsized. I've understood what that process is like. And I totally understand that this is not the majority of people's motivation. Most people don't look at the numbers and say, well, rationally speaking, I should be in a smaller house, because downsizing has so many other layers to it. And I have to say that I don't really like the word downsizing because it does imply loss, like somehow your lifestyle is going to be diminished. And I'm going to tell you that my clients don't experience it that way. Once they get out of the big family house into something that's more manageable, they just sigh a huge sigh of relief. And they say to me, I wish we had done this sooner. So how do we get there? Well, this is kind of a funny post that I found on social media about playing a decluttering game where you basically just take a couple of things in your handbag every time you go visit a friend. Then you covertly stow them so that they don't know they're there. And it's kind of a joke. Obviously, this is not going to do the big decluttering job. It's not going to help you get there. So let's look at some little more practical. And this is what we call our 5-step clutter busting strategy for successful home sales. It's kind of a cluttered title, but it's a fairly simple, straightforward campaign. And this is really what I was thinking of. As a former English and history teacher, I like this history metaphor because if I'm talking about clutter as being the enemy holding you in a home that no longer suits your needs, then how can we organize this mentally as something that is actually doable? So the very first step we're going to talk about is preparing to do battle. If you can think of it in terms of a battle, you realize you don't just all of a sudden one day decide you're going to annex the neighbor's backyard. If you're going to take over the neighbor's backyard, we better, have a military plan. So think of it in those terms. That one of the things you're going to do is you're going to establish D-Day, and in this case, it's Decluttering Day. We're going to put a date and on the calendar, and we are going to use the time between now and then to do a few other introductory steps. So by putting it on the calendar, by establishing a deadline for start, studies have shown that regardless of what this resolution is, you are going to have a much greater chance of following through with it. So put it on the calendar. What's today? Today is the 22nd. So why not use the start of the month, October the 1st, as your D-Day, your decluttering day. And the second thing you're going to do is you're going to give notice. Notice in terms of the people that you might be living with, maybe your spouse or your children, or the people who are using your house as free storage. The lease on mom and dad's rental unit is coming to an end, and we need you to make a plan to extract your hockey equipment or your gymnastics trophies or your high school textbooks, whatever it is that your kids are storing at your house, and give them kind of a deadline as well. And I've noticed that when spouses are on the same page, that the children respond to your level of resolution, especially when you couch it in terms of how important this is to you. Like your dad and I are considering making a move. One of the big things we're going to have to tackle is decluttering the house, and we'd really like it. It would mean a lot to us if you could come get your stuff or give us permission to dispose of it. If it's a matter of donating it to charity or other things like that, just getting their buy-in is going to help so much. The other thing we're going to do in this time of preparation is gather our supplies, so that when you are pulling the trigger from the jump to jump into the starting of this, that you have everything you need and nothing is frustrating you, nothing is hindering you, and you can really make good on your intention, your strong intention. So what kinds of things? Monica is going to share some of the things she finds useful in her business, but I'm going to tell you one of the things that I love are the contractor garbage bags from Home Depot, because they count as one garbage bag as long as you don't, make them too heavy, and they're puncture proof and they're good for odds and sods. And I found that they hold at least 2 bags of household garbage. So I love those contractor garbage bags. Then we're going to get clear bins that we can sort into, so that we can see the things in the bins, maybe some masking tape, a magic marker, and then boxes for donations, so that you can get it out as soon as you've sorted it. The key to organization, and this is a tip, free tip from me to you, is that you only pick it up once. You pick it up once and put it where it goes. So if it's going in the garbage, you've got the garbage bags. If you're going to donate it, it goes into the box for donations. If you're going to keep it and you want to see it in the future, those clear Rubbermaid totes with a lid are fantastic. Okay. Now, the other thing is, I want you to think of how much better you're going to feel, how proud of yourself you're going to feel. And maybe there's a little bit of some incentive that you give yourself, whether that is a new fall outfit once you've cleared out all the clutter from your closet, or a dinner out, or a nicer than usual bottle of wine, whatever it is, where floats your boat. You decide for yourself what that victory is going to be, so that you're reinforcing your intention and your goal and feeling good about it. Now, how do you start? You've told your spouse, maybe you've partnered with a friend who's going to hold you accountable. You've let your kids know that the stuff in the basement has to go. What are you going to do? You're standing at the precipice of your basement and you're going, holy moly. Well, one of the things we ascribe to is the Pomodoro Method. This is named after the tomato timer. Pomodoro means tomato, and this was an efficiency expert in Europe who discovered that 25 minutes is the absolute ideal time for productivity and focused attention. You know, there's been a lot written on the myth of multitasking. And so what I'm asking you to do is to set aside 25 minutes and use that time, chunk that time. And that way it's not overwhelming. It's not like you have been doing it for 6 hours and your back is aching and, you know, you're exhausted and you never want to do it again. Just 25 minutes regularly. Perhaps it's 2 or 3 times a week. Maybe it's every Saturday, whatever it is. The more frequently you do those 25-minute chunks, obviously the faster your progress is going to be. But I regularly use the 25-minute timer on my phone for when I'm procrastinating on something. And that's the real key to this method, is that by setting the timer, it's not so long that you've got to dread it, and you just get up and you start. So whether that's the timer on your phone, on your stove, whatever it is, start by chunking the time. And then we're going to suggest that you chunk the territory. And I know Monica is going to confirm this with me, that we want to stay in the room that probably needs it the most. While your motivation is high, we want some easy, quick wins. And so if that's the basement or the craft room or the garage, you stay there until it's about 80% done. We're not asking you to be perfect at this. Just stay in the room that needs it the most and continue to work in it. However, there is a caveat. If the room is the basement or the family room or whatever, and you run across family photos or papers, just set them aside. Do not get sucked into the morass of paper sorting when you're really trying to do an overview of the whole space. We have a solution for your papers, just hang on tight, but I'm just going to warn you that if you sit down with a box of old family photos, pew, there goes your productivity. So just set them aside. You can do it one night in front of the television. But in terms of keeping on your feet for 25 minutes in the basement, chunking back time, and then you move on to the next area and the next area. Okay, so those are our key recommendations for you. And sometimes we need to call in reinforcements, whether that is your friends, your family. Just somehow partnering on these kinds of things always makes it a little less daunting. And perhaps it's a work trade. You do one afternoon at her house, she does one afternoon at your house, or it's calling in your family to help. And it doesn't have to be some big heavy duty work schedule. It could just be an hour or so, and then you share a meal, whatever it is. Maybe you just need them to lift the heavy boxes or take the things out to the curb or whatever it is. So this is the time in your life when it's okay to ask for help. You've been investing over all these years for people and helping them. So now this is the time when you can say, I need your help. And if you don't have those people in your sphere, or you're not entirely comfortable inviting people into your home, there is a professional option. And we talk about this as hiring the mercenaries. And that's exactly the type of services that Monica is going to reference. But just think of it as even hiring one of your grandkids or a niece and nephew to put some things for sale online. Those can be really helpful to overcome technology or just to kind of keep you moving forward. So if you get yourself to a certain point, asking for some reinforcements or hiring somebody who can do this job. And I promise you, the professionals can do so much more than you would imagine in just even a couple of hours, an afternoon. Okay, so this is continuing on with this theme of battling our clutter. But at the end of the day, it is a choice that you are going to do something about this, because you want to be free to do more interesting things, and you want to be free from the worry and burden that your clutter creates in your life. So this is all very, very much doable. When we come back together next week, I'm going to give you a room by room breakdown of the things you can be doing, and we'll talk about this in a more drilled down fashion. But for now, I hope you are feeling inspired and motivated and encouraged that there is nothing so big that a plan can't tackle. I really find planning is what makes me feel much more in control and much more like the stress isn't going to overwhelm. Okay, so we are going to focus on fewer items but bigger opportunities, less stuff but the better stuff, and keeping the best for our, as Oprah would say, your best life. Okay, so just want to tell you that really our kids know this, the millennial kids know this so well, that we were never meant to live life accumulating stuff. We were meant to live simply enjoying the experiences of life, the people in life, and the journey of life, not the things of life. Oh my goodness, if COVID has taught us anything, this is going to be it. This is going to be my first tattoo. No, I'm joking. But it is so true that the stuff doesn't really bring us joy anymore. Like Marie Kondo says, like if it doesn't bring you joy, you let it go. Now, we talked about paper, and this is our first special offer to people who are listening in the GTA. We know that paper is hugely cluttering in our homes, and so we are having a paper shredding event. It's a fundraiser for Chats in York Region. We don't charge you for this. We have time slots where you can come, you literally pop your trunk, they take the boxes out, they dump them into the shredder, you watch while it's shredded. It's a huge mobile truck, and then they give you back your boxes. So it is free, but we do need you to sign up so that we can maintain social distancing and give everybody a time slot, okay? So if this is something that you could benefit by, we do it as our pleasure, as our community service, and as a fundraiser. We'll be taking in donations for Chats, which I really strongly support, because I think they do wonderful work for seniors in York Region. So that's something you can reach out to us for if you haven't already. And now it's my great pleasure to turn over the mic, turn over the screen share to Monica Black of Simple Easy Transition. And she's gonna take you along the next step of the journey of our time together today. So I am gonna stop sharing, she's gonna start sharing, and then continue on, and we'll reconvene at the end, okay? We've got a few more things we wanna share with you, okay? So Monica, you can take it away.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm having a little technical difficulty here. Just a second to share my screen. Not sure why this is happening. Okay, just all of a sudden it just went. This is, sorry about this, everybody. I am not quite sure what happened here.
So what I can do is I can go back to screen share, and then
Okay.
you can narrate, and I'll click the screens for you. How's that?
Thank you so much. That sounds wonderful, Sharon. I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. Does everyone see the correct screen now? Are we on your starting?
Yeah, it's right on the correct screen. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks, Sharon, for allowing me to speak here today to talk about the whole decluttering to downsize. My name is Monica Black, and I'm the founder and the owner of Simple Easy Transition. We are a full service transition company that provides decluttering, packing, moving, unpacking, floor planning, And we'll even go as far as staging your home and finding a home for your unwanted items. So this is the services we provide. To begin our presentation today, I always like to go backwards. I love talking to my clients about their lives and the history of their lives, because this also assists us with helping them to decide what they should be taking and what they should be leaving behind. We all, you know, our lives started, we got married, we bought our first home, which was a big thing. We started to accumulate. We started to have our family get-togethers with grandparents. I think I used to have one of those skirts, actually. I remember wearing that. So we had the family get-togethers, the Thanksgiving, which is coming up, but the Christmases. And we began having all these wonderful memories. I mean, the home is about the family and about the memories. But let's not forget that it's a house, it's bricks and mortar, and we carry those memories within us. You know, so wherever we move, those memories will be there. So now we've sold our house and our home, and we have to move on. So we have to say thanks for the memories, but now we're going to downsize to upsize our life. That's we are at a new transition of our lives. And I want you to always remember that. It's not loss, it's a new beginning. Next slide. So as I said here, we're upsizing to downsize, and you want to do more of what makes you happy. So what's going to make you happy going forward? Is it your family? Is it travel? Is it working from home? These are really key things that you've got to understand, that what makes you happy, because then you can organize your next home based on that. If you know it's your family and you love to entertain, then you've got to ensure that you're taking the china that you need. But if you're not going to be entertained, let's find a new home for that china. So we're going to start the process. So what stops us from starting the whole process? And why do we hold on to stuff? It's a sentimental attachment to the item. Your grandmother gave it to you, or your great-grandmother, so you feel that letting it go is letting them go. But remember, you're holding on to the memory. So it's the memories that also are stopping us from letting go of things. But remember, it's a thing. It is not the memory. We also find that people will say, well, I'll need it someday. And I'll give you a little story. I was helping a client out, and we were going through his garage, and he had 3 coffee makers in his garage, plus the coffee maker in his house. And I said to him, why are you holding on to these 3 coffee makers when you've got a coffee maker inside your house? He goes, well, I may need a part from these coffee makers for the coffee maker in the house. Well, that hasn't helped you so far, because you keep purchasing one. So, you know, we've got to let it go. That someday may not come. So let's let it go. And it's the investment, whether it is a financial investment, whether it's an emotional investment, or a memory investment. We don't let go of stuff because of the investment in the item. This is what I hear a lot. Do you know how much that cost when I bought it? You know, a lot of my clients went through the Depression, or they went through the war. So for them to purchase something like their home was a very big thing, and it's very hard to let go of it. But I keep saying, okay, let's look at where we're going. Does this fit in to your lifestyle? So what stops us from moving on and downsizing, supersizing our lives? It's the overwhelm. It's just, you walk around in your house and you just don't know where to start. Every room seems overwhelming. Everything seems so daunting. It's also the fear of the unknown, of where am I going to go next? Where am I moving? And this is key. It's important to understand where you're moving to. And that's why it's also important to understand, why am I moving and what am I moving towards? As we discussed, the fear of letting go of wonderful past memories of your home, of all the functions of your family, having your children there. Too many possessions. I mean, we are a society that loves to accumulate. You know, as Sharon said, the millennials are minimalists, where my generation, my parents' generation, and my grandparents, it's about collecting, because when we collect, it's like, this is where we have become, you know. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness, look what I bought. You know, I can afford this. You know, I can afford what I want. And with COVID and Amazon, I think we're even purchasing even more because it's made it even easier. It's also the lack of time. You know, it's the lack of time because we're too busy doing other things. It could be that we're too busy being caregivers to our parents, or we're taking care of our grandchildren, or we're just enjoying life and we just don't want to do it. It could be the cost of time, or the cost of hiring somebody that stops you from moving forward. Or it'd be, what will people think? What will my neighbors think? I mean, I had a client and we wanted to put a blue bin for garbage outside her front door on her driveway. And she refused because she didn't want the neighbors to know. She didn't want her neighbors to know that she was moving. She didn't want her neighbors to know that she was throwing out anything. So it's that fear. That's what's stopping us. So we become PMs, procrastinator movers. We just get stuck and we put our heads in the stand like an ostrich, and we wake up one morning and go, oh, I have to start because the house is going on the market. Sharon's knocking on the door saying, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get the sign up. The market's great now. And you're like, oh, where do I start? So here I'm hopefully giving you guidelines and some tips that you will use that will make this process go from complicated to simple, so you can downsize to supersize your life. Let's get going. So the first thing I say, let go of the judgment. Let go of the judgment that, oh my goodness, I haven't started. Let go of the judgment. Look what I've accumulated. Let go of the judgment. Why didn't I throw that out? I really don't need it. We are going to start where you are at right now. So let's begin. Know your why, because this will guide you in deciding what you should be keeping. Are you moving because there are health issues? Are you moving because you want to travel? Are you moving because you want to take care of your grandchildren? Know your why, because if you want to travel, you want to have definitely less stuff so you can close your front door and take off for 6 months. Is it because you want to entertain your family more? So we've got to make sure that you can take your china cabinets, you can have your china to entertain. Or is it because you're going to be taking care of your grandchildren? So we got to make space for your grandchildren to be able to play and feel comfortable in your new home. We're going to be talking about planning. We're going to be talking about floor plans, and we're going to be talking about decluttering. So this is a process. Let go of judgment. Know your why. Let's plan. Let's figure out your floor plan, and let's start decluttering to downsize. So know your why. I'm going to read what's on the screen because I think it's really, really important. When you downsize your life, you're not just downsizing the things you own. You're also shifting your perspective on what you value in life. You will make decisions about things and determine if they are worthy of having in a smaller space. Notice that word worthy, really key. Let your new space work for you, not against you. So you're not taking 300 things when it can only hold 200, and now you feel crammed in a small space. Important question to ask yourself: will these items fit in my new lifestyle? Really key. So what matters most to you? Is it your family? Is it travel? Is it work? Do we have to put a workspace there for you in your new space? Do you have to take all your files with you? Or is it you just like to clean and that's what you'll be doing, so you're going to take everything with you and life will not change? So why declutter? As Sharon alluded to, it adds value to the sale of your home. It's important for people to walk in and see a space that is open, airy, that they seems larger for prospective buyers. When a potential buyer walks in and they see everything, like all the family photos and all the knickknacks and all the books and all this kind of thing, they cannot see the home and the potential the home has. Instead, they'd be looking and saying, oh, look at their family. Oh my goodness, they're grandparents. And it takes away from walking through the home and looking at the home and what the home can offer to them. That's really important. Also, they start opening up the space allows them to think, oh, my sofa can go here, my desk can go here. They can start imagining what it would look like if they purchased the place, and they can walk away with that versus walking away saying, oh, do you remember seeing those pictures? Oh, do you remember seeing those photographs on that wall? Or do you remember seeing the loaded 3 china cabinets? It's really important to open up the space. And as it says here, it helps buyers imagine themselves in the space. So let's plan. We just step back. Let's plan. And as Sharon alluded to, scheduling. You know, what gets scheduled gets done. Get your calendar out. Give yourself deadlines. I find, even for myself, if I don't have a deadline, I don't get things done. You know, they say, give something to a busy person, it gets done, because that busy person has deadlines. And it's really important for you to give yourself deadlines. If you've met with Sharon and she says, you know, we want the house up at this date, work backwards of, you know, how many rooms are in the house. Schedule each room in the house. It could be you're going to take a room a week. Put it in your calendar. And a key thing is, let's get to that room first thing in the morning. Don't schedule it in the afternoon or at night. We're exhausted. We make sharper, quicker decisions first thing in the morning versus in even midday versus the evening. So just like you schedule your doctor's appointment, you're going to see your grandkids, let's schedule when you're going to start decluttering. Really important. Purchase your supplies. Go out and buy your clear boxes, as Sharon said. Or if you're going to be moving, if you want to put them in cardboard boxes. Buy your garbage bags. Yes, Sharon, I agree with you. Those construction bags are the best. But also buy clear bags, because the dark garbage bags are best for garbage. Clear bags are best for donation, and you're not mixing them up. Also, if you're putting stuff in the garbage bags, as soon as it's full, put it in the garage. Don't leave it in the house. As soon as you filled up that bag or box for charity, put it in your car, take it away. We work with so many clients, and if we left those boxes in the house, we've had clients that have gone back into those boxes and they've spent the time clearing out, and they've gone back in and they say, oh, you know what? I might need this. But if it was taken away, they wouldn't spend the time going backwards. Contact your charities. Furniture Bank, Habitat for Humanity, Red Door Shelter. All these are wonderful, Oasis, wonderful charities. But because of COVID, the rules and regulations have been changed. Their protocols are a little different. Find out what they're taking, what dates they are available to take. You can't just give them a phone call in the morning and expect them to come the next day. You got to schedule it in. So really, really important. Also, a lot of them give tax receipts to find out what, you'll get a tax receipt for. Ownership of each room. This is really key. As Sharon said also, which I agree with her, is that in our clients' homes and even in our own homes, we are the storage units for our children and grandchildren. We've gone into basements and we've opened cupboards, and we've seen graduation dresses that are 30 years old that, has been sitting there. Or we see high school books and trophies that belong to our kids and they haven't picked it up. So schedule that in. Give it ownership to your kids and say, you know what, this is your stuff. You need to clean it out by this date and let them come in and take it. If they don't take it by that date, tell them you're going to get rid of it. Really important. When work at one room at a time. Do not try to do all the rooms. Scheduling that room. I'm going to work on the kitchen. And if I'm going to work on the kitchen, today I'm just doing cutlery, or today I'm just doing china. Do not try and take it all on at once if you find this overwhelming. Just do it by category. It makes it easier. Schedule, as Sharon said, 25 minutes. And if you're on a go, if you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm feeling really good about this and I'm getting it done, then schedule 3 hours. But don't do more than 3 hours. Then it becomes exhausting. Say in the morning, it could be 10 to 1 o'clock. I'm going to do the kitchen and I'm just going to do the china cabinet. Tomorrow, I'm going to continue in the kitchen for 3 hours. I'm going to do the Tupperware drawer and the pots and pans. Really, that's the easiest way. The next thing I'll be talking about is the 5-box method further on, which is really key in when you're going through your stuff. We talked about when you're planning to do your floor plans. This is a floor plan, and here you'll see that the bed's there, the couch, and we have identified what I call the non-negotiable items that have to go with you. The measurements have been taken and it's been plotted. For a lot of my senior clients, this is very hard for them to visualize. But it might be easier for you and you can do it to scale, but this is very, very important to do before your actual moving date. My next slide, you will see how we work with our seniors, where we actually take green tape and we put it on the floor so that you can actually visualize, feel the space, see how your furniture is going to be placed. Also, the flow, the easy access. If I do a walkthrough, if I'm using a wheelchair, how can I get around my dining table? How can I get around the couch? This allows you to really touch, feel, and taste what your space will look like. So this is a great quote I found. For the longest time, I thought I needed to be more organized. Now I know I just needed less stuff. So I talked about the 5-box method. Here we've got 5 different boxes. So it could be a clear box for the stuff you want to keep. Could be and here we've got the black garbage bin, which I say use a black garbage bag. So you're going to have an area for keep, for donate. Now donation can be broken down in 2, for family and for charity. And if you're giving away stuff to your family, please give them a deadline of when they need to pick it up by. You're not a storage unit. Things you want to sell, whether it is through Kijiji, consignment, content sale. Now, I know we talk about storage and we always say that you're downsizing not to store stuff, but there are times when, especially if you have the business, it may be that you have to store files, or maybe there's a few things that are undecisive, and we say before throwing things out or giving them away. If it's undecisive, let's put it into storage. And of course, there is the trash. Those are 5 key areas you need to think about when you're going through your stuff. So this is a chart I have, and it may be a little difficult for you to see, but it's a wonderful chart to decide what to keep when downsizing. And I'm just going to go through a little snippet of it. If you wish this chart, you can email me and I can send this out to you. So you pick up an item and you say to yourself, have you used it in the past 6 months? And if the answer is no, is it sentimental? If it's not, does it make me happy? If it doesn't, does it still work? And if it's no, then decide whether it is trash or donate. And you go through this for each item. For sentimental items and photographs, my recommendation is to leave those for last, because that will take the most time emotionally and mentally for you to make a decision. Don't start that first, because that will throw you off. So here it is. This is what results are. The first picture where you see all the clutter, that was a former client of mine. He was a gentleman that loved to go shopping. Shopping was his social thing. And he would purchase, if it wasn't 3 paper towels, it was 4 cases of paper towels because it was on sale. So we assisted him to downsize and go through everything and take out all the excess in all his room. Here again, just going through everything, finding a home for it and organizing it. As you can see, if somebody was to walk through that house, it'd make it easier for them to visualize. So how do you work with us? We will help you to create a plan. We will go through the process of decluttering with you. We will pack and remove all your unwanted items, and we will celebrate with you when you've reached the end. And those are 2 people on my team. As you can see, we're in another client's house, assisting her with the downsizing process. See, I just don't want this to happen to you, because I've seen this happen to many clients. Sometimes this is when we get the call of panic. Now that I see all the rocks together, I'm really, really worried they won't fit into our new place. A lot of clients say, oh, you know what? I'll just decide when I get there. I'll just decide when I get there. And then all of a sudden it's 150 boxes, that they are moving, and it just becomes so overwhelming. So we're saying, start the process early, start where you're at, and use some of these tips, and you will get the results. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you today, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Monica. I have a question before you go on mute.
Sure.
What has your team been doing? Like, I noticed this picture here. Obviously, this was taken before COVID. What do you do now to ensure that your clients are protected and safe when your team comes in to help them?
Anybody who works with me, whether it is my team or subcontractors, movers, anybody, painters, everybody has been double vaxxed. First of all, temperatures are taken. We do wear a mask with us. We have our mask on at all times, but we do take our temperature, before we start a job and after we start a job. Yeah.
So like COVID screening.
Yes.
Do the little symptom test.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. And as I said, I know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Well, we do, as we mentioned, have a lot of resources available to you on our website. It's smartrealtysolution.com, including the 30-day decluttering challenge. Now, contradicts received today, because you are going to have a checklist like this. You see this, where every day is a different task. And what we've done is organize them into 25-minute tasks with a really nice email that comes to you and helps to motivate you, inspire you, so that you can kind of track your progress. So if you're the kind of person that just needs that little bit of boost, a little bit of accountability to yourself, then this is what we recommend you sign up for. And we would encourage you to even invite a friend to join you in this challenge. Now, rest assured, this is completely self-monitored. I'm not coming to your house to check that you've done your homework, but I just think this is something that we can be doing on an ongoing basis, because if you've lived in a home as long as I know many of you have, it's not a once and done. It's kind of a continuing process that we dig a little deeper each time. So there you can see the first task for the day is the front hall closet. And you can see that this is a very manageable chunk, a bite-sized chunk that you can get done in a day, so in 25 minutes. So reach out to us. We're happy to send this to you, and you can start on your way. And better yet, recommend it to a friend. And we'd love to share the good news of decluttering. So that's that. We also have coming up in October a two-part series on the best renovations for return on investment. That's what those initials stand for. So we're presuming you're working on your decluttering, and now you're looking at this great new space that you've got, and you're thinking, well, what could I be renovating in order to boost the resale value? And I have some very specific ideas of the things that you can be doing, and also, more importantly, the things you probably shouldn't be doing that might end up being kind of a waste of money. Unless you're doing it for your own enjoyment and, you know, enjoying your space, there are some things that we just don't see pay back when it's time to sell your home. So this is something, again, that you can sign up for online, and this will be starting next month. But next week, we're going to come back for part 2 and drill down, as I mentioned, and give you some real specifics about getting through the clutter. So our intention today is to set the stage, help to inspire you, and get you going on this. If you haven't, hi, sorry.
Sorry, Sharon, I just wanted to interrupt there. There was a question.
Okay, sure, no worries. Okay. I'm also going to share with you that we are available all over social media. These are different ways you can connect with us, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. And now we have time for questions. Just one last thing I want to plug. So I don't know if you can see this. I am not a day drinker, rest assured, but we have a wonderful gift pack for people who have asked for a property evaluation. We call it our pinpoint price analysis. And this is a gift pack that we're giving away. It's a hiking backpack with a place for a bottle of wine that we're happy to supply, as well as a gas card and a grocery card. And all you have to do is reach out and say, Sharon, I'm interested in a pinpoint price analysis. And we'll happy to put your name in a draw for that. Okay, so this is really a property evaluation taken to the next level, and we have various options you can choose from. So I just want to say thank you again for joining us. Here is our contact information. Make sure you write it down if you would like to connect with either Monica or me. And then we have a question in the chat. Do I know a good place to get rid of antiques? Well, there are various consignment shops that will take antiques. The issue is, of course, the overwhelming supply of them. And I've noticed that places like, it totally just flew the coop there. There are places that will do consignment sales of antiques, but they're getting more and more choosy as to what they will accept. I think that there are sale sites on Facebook, and we've had a lot of good success with that. The Millionaire's Daughter is the place I was thinking of, and they will take them on consignment for a fee. You may find that you do better on your own through Kijiji, Facebook, places like that. So I would do what you could first. If you think they are of significant value, you could always call in an estate appraiser. They will give you a sense of what the value is, and there are several auction houses that will do antique sales as well. So I would simply reach out to the things that are closest to you in your geography and see what they are accepting. I hope that's helpful. Any other questions? Well, we are right at the top of the hour. If you think of things afterwards, like I always seem to do, I get off the webinar and I go, oh, darn, I wish I had asked. Well, here's the various ways you can get in contact with us. So the 3 offers again are the Decluttering Battle Plan, our shredding event, and of course the giveaway for the backpack for the pinpoint property analysis. Okay, so lots coming your way. We hope you found this helpful and motivational, and I expect that you will come back next week, and even better, bring a friend. Okay, so that's our ask for you, is share the good word. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now. Bye. Bye, Monica. Thanks. Bye.